All right, let's see here. Whew, it is the end of the weekend. It's the end of a couple of busy weekends, really. This was supposed to be an update video on taillights for the Mustang again, but I have some 3D printed parts I was going to test fit on the back, and I was almost ready to cut the outline in the tail panel to fit the custom lights, but I've already changed my mind on how they're going to sit, how all the pieces are going to fit together, so that's going to have to wait a little longer. Not only for that reason, not only because I changed my mind, but as you can see, I'm sitting on a big roll of insulation here. I have a stack of sheet metal outside that's supposed to go up on this half of the roof. So no more leaks. I am happy to do that work to get rid of the leaks. The reason that I am able to get to the back side of the shop now and do the roof is because we had trees taken out along this edge, and the neighboring property had a whole bunch of trees taken out along this side of their property. So then I took the chance to clean everything that was along this wall back here. And if you remember from my comment video, I think it was the second comment video, you can see there's a lot of debris back there. Trees shedding leaves and limbs over the years. And there was plastic pallets back there and a 55-gallon drum that's rusty on the inside, and we're not going to use it. 250-gallon water tote, the big square ones, had a crack in it. It wasn't any good to us. We used it for rainwater collection for a while, but it's just been sitting back there. Old tiles. What else? Some random bits of steel and iron, and I went, a whole bunch of that stuff went in the scrap bin. And a whole bunch of stuff was placed out by the road for people to take for their own use. Now, one of the things that had to move that was over here was the Comet. It was just kind of sitting up against the side of the shop here, and it's kind of in the way of everything. So we took that and pulled it out. We cleaned along this whole edge, and then I needed a place to put the Comet. So I decided I need to get the trailer cleaned off. My Air Ride custom built trailer that's now a scrap metal collector. Had a whole bunch of stuff on it, old roofing materials, everything. So get out there. Of course, the battery's dead, so I can't pump up the airbags. Had to mess with that. Get it hooked up, tow it over, and put everything on the scrap pile. There's a big pile of scrap sheet metal from old structures that were taken down next door. So all that sheet metal I had there is now on that scrap pile, and I don't really care about the dollar value of it, so it can just go on that scrap pile. It's all going to go. And I'm glad that's done. It's gone. I am sticky, sweaty, because of course it's over 90 degrees today. But that's handled. The car is now parked over here on a trailer, and this side is clear. We can do the roof, all that. It's all good. It was worth the effort. Somebody at work asked me, hey, how's your Mustang project going? I'm like, it's going slow because there's 1,000 other things I need to do before I can do that. So, one of those things was our water well. I've been kind of listening to the pump kick on and off over the last few months, and it would kick on about every hour, whether we were using water or not. So I was thinking, oh, there's a leak in it. And then recently it's gotten down to a half hour. So the leak has gotten worse, and there's no external leaks. I shut off the water to the house. It didn't make a difference. It's in the well. Cool. Yeah, that's what I really want to do, is pull the pipe up out of the well. But got it done. So here's a few clips of that whole adventure. Well, I think there's the answer to the question of why it's leaking back down in the well. That's a cast iron body with a Venturi in it, and the paint is completely gone, so rust is building up like crazy. And I'm sure that in here where this check valve is packed full of rust and it doesn't close all the way. So now I gotta decide if I'm gonna try and find a new one of these that's got fresh paint on it, or just clean this one. Yeah, a little bit of buildup on there. I don't think that seal that's in there is sealing quite all the way. I would really like to find a new injector made of brass or something, and a brass connection, so it just doesn't happen, because all the coating off of this is just gone and it's just going to rust up again in just a few years. Alright, so that's how it is without the screen on there. And that little spring holds the plunger closed. And I was initially thinking that there was rust in this plunger area, but when I went to take this loose, I put a socket in this end and I put a wrench on this end, and I gave it a twist. I first thought that the wrench had fallen off. Like, oh, it slipped off, let me reset it. No! It had broken. Look at that. Is it in focus? Can't even tell. There we go. That thing snapped with so little effort. So I think it's brass or something. It looks very coppery, but it's got some wear, shiny spot there, and it's kind of bent. And I think this was getting jammed sideways, or it had a manufacturing defect or something, and the rust in the system, the buildup, just made it worse. And when I went to take it apart, it just came apart with, like, if I could have got my fingers on this, I think I might have been able to break it. That's how little force it took. So we at least need a new foot valve. Alright, well, after 8 phone calls and only 1 returned call to me and a trip to town, we're kind of back to the same setup we had before. I put a new foot valve on the ejector or injector or whatever you call it. Seems to depend on who you talk to. And then I put my, I've forgotten the name of them. These unions, they have an O-ring between them. So you can just spin these apart and lift it all back out if you need. I figure we'll get 5 years or so on this setup, just because of how quickly the rust accumulates. And then we're probably going to look at going to a submersible pump in the future. But right now, the total cost of putting a submersible pump in is not something we want to mess with. So we know this setup works. We're going to run it. Hopefully they don't have any problems. I'm actually just about to put some water back in this thing. So I pressurized the tank, and then I closed the ball valve here and one to the house. So now I can grab my handle, and this is the moment of truth. We'll put some pressure back in. We'll back flow. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Gotta get all the way down on there. Oh, now I can't turn the frickin' ball valve. So this valve, this ball valve that's after the pump, is actually a flow control device. And it makes sure that you have at least 10 psi in the pump housing when you're pumping. So you let this run to the air, you take this off, let this run wide open, watch the gauge, and you slowly turn the ball valve closed. And when it hits 10 psi, you can leave it at that spot. And then that's enough. That's ensuring that enough water is going down the charge pipe down to the bottom. Oh, there we go. Okay. Just a little bit. Look for leaks. Wow, that's quite a bit more pressure than I thought. I mean, that's a good sized tank. It's got a lot of capacity. Here, air bubbles coming up. Alright, I had to get some air out here. So we got some air bubbles on the line. I had to pull this loose a little bit to let some air out. Now we're flowing. Well, let's see if we can get it to really... Oh, pressure's coming up. We'll come up to about 50. Yeah, there's some air. Might as well refresh the taps. Oh, rusty water. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot about that. All the rust that falls off comes in. Alright, I think we're there. The only thing I have left to do is to put a 1/4 cup of bleach in there to shock the well since it's been open, and we put the pipes on the ground and everything. So 1/4 cup of sanitizing grade bleach into the well and run it till it doesn't smell like chlorine anymore. Then we can run stuff in the house. Ugh. It's gonna be a few minutes. I am done. I don't even want to be sitting here in this sticky shirt. I'm done. Projects around the house should slow down for a little while now. The big ones are done. Well, of course, not the sheet metal. Sheet metal, that's next weekend. Next video, I'll show you a little bit of the brand new roof. I don't know if I'm going to film much of the install because it's just a roof. I don't know. So I hope a bunch of this insulation is used up. The new roof is on. Of course, I'm going to have a new stack of scrap sheet metal. I will use a very small amount of that, and then the rest is probably going to go. And then I'm going to continue working on the taillights. Hopefully, I can stop making changes and just print parts. Of course, now that I say that, I may need to buy one more roll of a different material because these are going to be exposed to heat. And some components are going to be inside the trunk where it's going to be hot. It's going to be a black car, so that 140 degree glass transition temperature of the PLA I'm using now may not be enough. I don't want that to soften and sag. I have sweat actually running down my arm. All right, I think that's enough. If I think anything else, I'll add it in here at the end. But thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. I know we haven't done Mustang stuff lately. I'm trying. We'll get there. See you later.